name is Sarah Hillis, and I'm going to be teaching a lesson today over geometry aimed at kindergarten and first grade. So I'm going to be teaching this lesson using two different instructional strategies at two different levels within Van Healy model. These levels will include level 0 and level 1. Okay, so for this lesson, my techniques include geometry and measurement. The student applies mathematical process standards to analyze attributes of two-dimensional shapes and three-dimensional solids to develop generalizations about their properties. The student is expected to, in the kindergarten level, classify and sort a variety of regular and irregular two- and three-dimensional figures regardless of orientation or size. And at first grade, classify and sort regular and irregular two-dimensional shapes based on attributes using informal geometric language. When dealing with the Van Healy model, you have to remember that three things have to happen in order for children to master the levels. First, they must be in sequential order. This means that they have to go in order from 0 to 4. Next, advancement. They need to have mastered the previous level in order to move on. For example, they have to master level 0 before they can move on to level 1. And lastly, mismatch. Students and teachers need to be teaching or learning on the same level. So the teacher needs to be on the same level as the student in order for the student to understand. So first, I'm going to read a book. It's always fun to bring literature into your lessons for students to be able to better grasp and understand the lesson. So this book is called It's a Shape. What are shapes? Shapes on the bed, shapes on the wall, straight shapes and curvy shapes, big shapes and small. Shapes are wide or narrow, shapes are short or tall, but shapes are just flat with no thickness at all. Polygons. All polygons have corners and sides that are straight. They have 3 sides or 4 sides or more sides like 8. What is a triangle? Here is a clue. It has 3 straight sides and 3 corners too. If a shape has 4 corners, just exactly the same, and has 4 straight sides, rectangle is its name. A special rectangle with 4 equal sides. A square is a shape just as tall as it's wide. When you fit them together or pull them apart, you can make polygons into colorful art. Circles. A circle is just like a tire or a hoop, a perfectly round and unending loop. All shapes all around. Circle, triangle, rectangle, square. Look at this picture and find each one there. So this is a good book because it shows children that there are shapes everywhere. So like in their toys, the tires are circles. And there's shapes in their art, on their games, on their furniture at home, and the food that they eat, they're triangles. And then there's like an octagon is a stop sign. And then even on their bed at home. So it shows them that even in their everyday life, there's shapes. So our first lesson is going to be a shape sort. And first I'm going to sort at a level 0. So I'm going to do this on my whiteboard so it's easier to see. So first I'm going to sort at level 0, and when students are at a level 0, they are visual. So probably one of the main things that a level 0 child will notice is color. So in this sort, I'm going to sort them by color. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to start my first section over here, and I'm going to sort all the green ones together. And then I'm going to come up here and do all my yellows. And then I'm going to do all my oranges. And then my blues. And you can either do this in two different sections of dark blues and light blues, or just all the blues together, however you prefer. Or really however your child prefers. So again, this is a level 0 sort, and they're sorting by visuals, and so this is by colors. So we have yellow, orange, green, and blue. Okay, so that's our first sort. Move all those off. And then next, I'm going to do a level 1 sort. And when a child is at level 1, they use analysis. So they notice all the attributes, so like the sides and the points of a shape. So level 1 sort. So again, I'm going to mix up all my shapes, and then I'm going to sort them. And for this sort, I'm going to do by round sides, by straight sides, and then I have some shapes with round and straight sides. So those are going to be my 3 groups. So this shape would go in straight sides. This one would go in round sides. Straight, round, straight, straight and round, 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 round and straight, and then my last 2 are going to go in straight. So again, I sorted these into 3 different groups dealing with their attributes. These are sorted by round sides. These are sorted by straight sides. And then these are sorted by round and straight sides. Okay, so we'll put these up. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do an activity with tangrams. And again, for this lesson, I have another book, which I'm not going to read, I'm just going to show it. It's called Grandfather Tang's Story. And so throughout the story, he goes, and it talks about all these different figures that you can make up of different shapes. So that there's like a rabbit and a dog and a hawk, and many other animals. So this shows students that even with multiple shapes, you can make figures. So you can start with something simple. And for instance, here's a square, and that is just one. You see, you can't really take it apart. Just one figure or one shape, and it's a square. But you can show them that you can take 2 triangles and you can make another square. So this shows them that other shapes can have more shapes in them. For instance, this one shape can be made up of 2 other shapes, such as triangles. Okay, so for tangrams, there's this workbook, Grandfather Tang's Story, A Tale Told with Tangrams. So this is just a fun activity for students to do and be able to visualize these figures. For instance, this one's a fox, and that's the one we're going to make today. It is made up of all these different shapes. So you can see this is the first page of the book, and it's, you know, pretty self-explanatory. You just put the shapes in there. However, when you continue on in the workbook, it gets less and less easy. Here you can see it's getting harder. They have the dotted lines. But then, if you get even further, you have no lines. So you just try and go along with the story, and they can put the shapes in. Like this one, the hawk, the wings are the triangles. So, okay, so for this lesson, we're gonna make the fox, which is on the very first page. So we're gonna take our two large triangles, and we're gonna put them in there. Okay, and then we're going to take our medium triangle, and you can see we made up the body and the legs so far. We're going to take our square, and that's the fox head, and then our smaller triangles make up the ears, and then parallelogram here makes up the tail. Okay, so we put those shapes together and that makes a figure, and this one is a fox. So that's just a fun way for students to learn.